Hi everyone, I'm Ali and welcome to the channel. In today's video I'm going to show you how to make a Christmas ornament. And this Christmas ornament, it's quite a cute Christmas ornament that can be hung on the tree, like so. And when you pull the bead and it flips around, it creates this star shape. You slide the bead down again so it can hang from the tree. And I did create these as gifts for people, and today I'm going to show you how to make one of these. And I'm also going to show you how to make one of these with some pattern paper that I created using a repper. If you watched my last video, you will know how I went about making these pattern papers. And what I had done is I had printed some, but then I put my paper back through the printer, so I ended up with some double-sided. So I'm going to bring you down to the craft mat today, not the computer, and show you how you go about making one of these pretty little ornaments. So to create this craft item today, you're going to need obviously some pattern paper, and you will need to go ahead and cut this paper into 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch squares. You also need a bead of some description, some ribbon, some glue or double-sided tape, a bone folder if you have one lying around. Ink is optional if you wanted to do some distressing of the edges of each of these pieces. And the last thing you'll need is something that will decorate the outside of this particular ornament. So you might use a punch, which is what I'm going to be using today, or you might just use a square, a couple of layered squares. So you don't need anything too special, but that's kind of how we'll get started. So you'll see I've made a piece over here already. So I'm just going to run you through how it was that I made that piece. So for each of the 6 pieces that you have, you need to fold them in half and score. And then you need to go back the other way, making sure you line it up so that it all sits nicely when it's done. Once you have done it that way, you go diagonally to make your triangles and score, and back the other way. And then once it's been folded, fold it in as a triangle, and then fold each of the other pieces in on themselves like this. Okay, and then you'll have your next piece. Now when it's at this stage, this is when you can go ahead and use some ink. You might want to do up the edges. I think I'm going to do that with this one today, but and I'm going to use some of this distressed ink that I have. I don't even know if the pad's still got any ink in it, to be honest. It's been so long since I've used it. Oh, it does. So just going around the edges just gives it that little bit of something extra in terms of dimension. So going around and doing that on one side and then flipping over. So what I'm going to do off camera is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make the 6 pieces. So you need 6 of these. And then I'm going to come back and show you the next step. Okay. So that's one done. Okay, so I've got my 6 already created here. And now I need to glue them together. So the way that you glue these together is just with the square edge. So keeping the open edge to the top, add a little bit of glue. Making sure that one's facing to the top also, and glue those squares together. Now you could use double-sided tape, as I said. However, I find that by the time you've cut the tape and then you have peeled off the backing, this is way faster. So that's the first one done. I'm just going to continue now, adding some glue to each of the other pieces, making sure they're also facing in that same direction. And putting the rest of them together. So I would just put that to the side for the moment with something on top of it, heavy, while the glue is getting itself organized. Okay, so I'm just going to use some white card for this. I need 2 of these. So again, you could just cut out a little under like a 1-inch square, and then maybe that one that's slightly smaller and layer them. So you could use 2 different colors if you wanted to. You could also use something like this label punch that I'm using, or you might have another one that's got the little rounded edge. So here's one here where I use the rounded edge on the label punch and then put a pearl in the middle. So it's entirely up to you how you want to decorate these. I'm just keeping it simple for the purposes of this video. So I'm just going to punch that out. I just want to double check that it is going to sit on the front of this okay. Yep, so it's going to fit there perfectly. Put that back aside, give it a little bit more time. So 2 of those, one for the front and one for the back. And I'm going to just ink these up. These could easily be on pattern paper as well. These stamps I think I just bought from the cheap shop. Sometimes you get those magazines that come out with different stamps in them too, which all come in pretty handy. So if I do this in brown, there we are, nice and easy. Right, so we've got our 2 ends there. I'll put all this aside. Before we put those on, that's fine, we need to do this ribbon. Okay, so you'll need 2 lengths of ribbon. That ribbon, where it's open, we need that ribbon sitting in there. Okay, so let's put a bit of glue there and get that ribbon down first. Then take this piece, and this is extra backup. So that helps to hold the ribbon on, as well as give it a little bit of decoration. And do that on both sides. With your 2 pieces of ribbon over here, you want to feed them through this bead. Now this bead could be metallic, it could be wooden, it could be crystal, it could be whatever you like. There we go. And you want to put 2 beads on this. Alright, when they are both on, then you can go about tying this off. And if you need to, depending on the condition of the ribbon once it's been through that, you might just want to neaten it off a little bit. And then we can move that second bead down, and it will give us our closed part to that. And then if we want it to be open, we move that bead up and along, we turn this around on itself, and we bring this second bead, the lower bead, down to help close that off. And there we have our star. So as you can imagine, the decorative possibilities can be pretty endless, but it's quite cute. You can box these up and give them away, like I said, as presents. And it's just something that's nice and homemade that somebody might appreciate for hanging on their tree. So they are the 3. Just be careful with the ribbons and the beads that you choose. This one here is a little bit harder with the thicker ribbon, so just a bit of a note to self on that one. I made this one by stamping. I had a flourish stamp, so I just stamped all over some white card and also some red card, and then I embossed it with some embossing powder to make this one. Here's another one that I put together with some of the pattern paper that I made, just as a point of difference before we move along. And on the outside of this one, I did create it a little bit differently, in that I had a little season's greeting stamp that I found in my kit, and I added a few little sparkles there. So you can dress these up, like I said, any way that you like. I added a little bit one to the one that I just made with you watching, and that I just put Christmas across the top of it. So yeah, very easy to make. So I hope you've enjoyed this video today about how to create a little Christmas star. You know what the best thing is? At the end of, if you made these for the tree, if you did end up making some of these for your Christmas tree, when you go to pack up at the end of Christmas, if you want to reuse them again, they take up very little space. So there's an added bonus. Thanks for watching today's video, everyone. I hope that you enjoy making your own very own decorations, and I will see you in the next video.